How's it going, everybody? CJ here, back with another video. We're doing another first thoughts today. It's first thoughts on Winota. If you're going to build Winota, comment down below what you're going to do with her. If you're going to put her in a deck, if you're going to build her as your commander, I'd love to hear about it. So, comment down below. And we're going to hop into this. So, Winota's pretty weird. It's like half tribal, half another, half tribal and half anti that tribe. Like, you want to have humans to get off of Winota's ability, but you need non-humans to trigger the ability, so it's a really weird balance. I think the best way to make that, to get that balance to work well, is a lot of lower CMC non-humans and then obviously big CMC humans. And probably less humans, considering you get to look like, what is it, 6 deep? Yeah, 6 cards deep. You don't need a huge amount of humans, just enough. But you do need a large amount of non-humans, that way you can make sure you hit those triggers. So I'm going to start off with the humans. So some big splashy humans you can throw into this deck to get a lot of value include stuff like Angrass Marauders, double damage, always good, especially in Boros, in a combat-based Boros deck especially. Aura Touched Mage, enters the battlefield, you can go and get an Aura and enchant it. So I think the best one you can get here is Eldrazi's Conscription, which is pretty nutty. Seems sweet. Then you can throw stuff in like Silverwing Squad, Silverwing Squadron, or Captain of the Watch, Hero of Bladehold. All those make tokens, and they're all non-human tokens. So I think Silverwing Squad is. I know Captain of the Watch and Hero of the Bladehold are non-humans. So those tokens are great because they give you more creatures that can trigger the ability. And they're strong. They come on the back of strong humans that can get brought into play from the ability. Darien, another token creator, but he's pretty sweet because he creates tokens whenever you're dealt damage, so it'll kind of deter your opponents. You can throw in an infinite combo in this deck very easily with Godo, because Godo's a human, and he can go and fetch Helm and have infinite combat steps. Pretty good. You can throw in Homura. You can throw in Kamal Pit Fighter, just tap and bolt, tap and bolt, tap and bolt, whatever. Thalia's Lancers lets you go and tutor out a legendary. Pretty sweet in the deck. And it's also, yeah, so those are all big humans that would provide a lot of value when brought into play. They're pretty heavy mana costed, so it's better to get them for free. And ways to get those for free will include things like Gingerbrute. Some small, hard-to-block creatures that are not human. So Gingerbrute, Tin Street Dodger, Ferropede, which is actually unblockable. Well, Gingerbrute and Tin Street Dodger are conditionally unblockable. Like you pay a mana for either one of them, and they can only be blocked by creatures with haste or defender, respectively. You can throw in Blinkmoth Nexus, which is really sweet. It's a land that can be turned into a flyer, which would be very hard to block, obviously. You can just throw in like really cheap flyers, because more often than not, you're going to have a free attack with a flyer somewhere on the board. So flyers are a pretty good way to basically have an unblockable creature. You can use stuff like Healer Hawk, Aven Skirmisher, Duskborn Sky Marcher, and Fairy Guidemother. All those are 1 mana flyers, and so you can get the ability going really quick. There's also that one flyer that's new. I can't remember the name of it, but the one that ramps you in white, and that would be a really sweet one in this deck too. Then token generators. Token generators is another way you can go about getting triggers, because you can, instead of trying to go over your opponent's creatures, you can just overwhelm them. Have a large number of tokens, that way they can't block them all and you're going to hit. But it doesn't even need to trigger off combat damage, it's just when they attack. So if you swing up a bunch of tokens, then instead of you getting if you swing a bunch of tokens, you don't have to worry as much because they're tokens. You're going to have more of them, you're going to be able to make more of them, stuff like that. So they're more disposable. Dispendable. Whatever the word is. I can't think about that word. But we're going to go with disposable. Assembled Legion, probably one of the better token creators. It can really, really ramp into a lot of tokens. Spirit Bonds, pretty solid token generation there. You can also go Goblin Tribal as the non-human part of this deck and do stuff with like Kranko, because goblins are really easy to make a bunch of tokens and overwhelm your opponents. So why not? Just throw in Cranko, either both Crankos. Throw in stuff like, I don't know. Legion Loyalist, whatever. I don't know, just goblin stuff. Just throw in some goblin stuff in there and you should be set. And another way you can build this deck is with hate bears. Because there's a lot of really good human hate bears, and being able to just create tokens, hitting the hate bears, it can generate a lot of quick value and really slow your opponents down. So stuff like Thalia, both Thalias, great in the deck. Magus of the Moon, you can do Dranith, which is a new one that makes it so you can't cast commanders. Tocatli Honor Guard, Aethersworn Canonist, all those are fantastic. Another way you can build this deck, or a couple other cool cards that you can add to this deck, not necessarily hate bear cards, just like general for Winota, include like Grenzo Havoc Razor, which whenever deals combat damage, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage, you can go to creature that player controls, or you can generate card advantage with it. Gleam of Battle, whenever a creature you control attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it, because if bigger is better, right? Then you can kind of control the top card of your library, so that way you know what you're going to hit off Winota. And you can do that with stuff like Penance or Hidden Retreat. Penance is a card that I actually run inside my Yannette deck, which is behind me. And that card is very, very sweet. It's a really cool way to really control what's going on. You can also use cards like Scroll Rack, which is fantastic. Crystal Ball, not really Sensei's Divining Top, because it's 6 cards deep and you can't really change anything with that. But anything that lets you scry repeatedly, that's always good. They're just good ways to control what's on top, so that way you can get the hits. And the last thing I want to talk about with this deck is extra combat steps, because the more combats you have, the more triggers you can get. So throw in stuff like Aggravated Assault, Aurelia, Combat Celebrant, easy extra combat steps, and just get as many humans as you can on the board, all for free. So that's what I got for Winota. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember, comment down below what you're going to do with Winota. If you're going to put her in a deck, if you're going to build her. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, check me out on Patreon if you really want to support the channel. And we will see you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.